Is flipping houses still profitable in 2021? In 2021, is flipping houses still profitable? Is flipping houses still profitable? Now let's dissect this, right? I don't know. This kind of questions is like, yeah. These questions come from comments, by the way. Just people replying to emails, and comments and stuff like that. And it amazes me that people ask these questions, but it's also arrogance on my part when I think it's amazing, because honestly, it's still very true that there's no such thing as stupid question. There are times that I feel like there's a stupid question. Okay, there are times that I absolutely feel that, but I have to be honest with you. It's not. You don't want to look at any questions as a stupid question, and I try to hold myself accountable when it comes to that. Okay, because it creates a blind spot for me. Okay, a question can actually lead me to learning more for myself, because there's no one in life that knows it all, right? So I always try to, but sometimes a question would just come at me. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I could also tell where that question is coming from. It's like, so to be fair to you, one of the two people that's watching this video, it's not your fault that this question came up. This is just a comment that came by way of email, and I could tell in the tone of the person, it's a longer email, that they are skeptical, right? And when people are skeptical, ideally I would like that skepticism to come from from a place of quote unquote common sense. But we all know that common sense is a terrible guide to life. Right? So what is common sense to me may not be common sense to another person. So maybe they've heard news, maybe somebody trying to sell them digital wholesaling versus real estate wholesaling, and then they're now asking, is flipping houses still profitable? But let's dissect this question. It's like saying our house is still used. Our house is still a utility, or something that people need in 2021 and beyond, right? That's that question right there. Some people will come straight up and say, hey, here in Sweden, we don't, it's not allowed, it's illegal. Like, what do you mean? Right? It's illegal to flip houses, like, right? It's illegal to flip this microphone. It's crazy, right? Like, are you kidding me? Like, so that's how I feel when I get these questions. But then I have to like step back and humble myself and say, no. Maybe this person is getting mixed information all over the place. Maybe they're another guru trying to sell them another form of money-making opportunity. And the truth is that you don't have to really choose. All you have to do is choose what resonates with you the most. But let's not ask disingenuous questions. See, I just went there again. I'm calling it disingenuous, but maybe it's not. Maybe that person is actually being genuine, right? Maybe they just mixing up. But anyway, the answer to the question is that yes, it's still profitable. See, what makes any kind of business venture profitable ever is when you understand that it's about buying low and selling high. That's any type of flipping, or any flipping business or wholesaling business. The idea is you want to buy low so you can sell high, but you want to reverse engineer that, because again, the market determines what any kind of product or services is worth. You don't determine that, the market determines that. Now, you could label any price on wherever you want, but at some point in the grand scheme of things, over time, you want to look at, are people buying or not? Right? If they're not buying, then you want to step back and say, maybe it's not affordable for the market, or maybe people don't value this thing that you're offering, right? If they don't value, there's nothing you can do about that. It is what it is. The market is always right. So you determine what that thing is worth. So in this case, this is houses, right? So in real estate, we talk about after repair value, right? And the after repair value, there's a tool called the deal estimator that you can use to estimate this store. Dealestimator.com, by the way, dealestimator.com. Let me put that on the screen so you can see it. Deal estimator. It's a free tool that I created that you can use to estimate houses and stuff like that. You can check it out later, right? So dealestimator.com, and also, yeah, if you want to do it more professionally, you want to pull data from bigdata.com. I want to pull data from the nationwide over 160 million houses, right? This is another one, EmpireBigData.com. This actually is a better tool. You can try it out for free. It costs money, but you can try it out for free for 7 days to allow you to estimate what a property is worth before you get into it. And that's the point I'm making. Is this still profitable in 2021? It will always be profitable for people who know how to analyze a deal. Okay? If you know how to analyze a deal, it will always be profitable. So analyzing a deal is a function of the last six months, typically. Okay, it's a function of the last 6 months, typically. What that means is that you only look at the market and what houses are selling for in the last 6 months. If you look at what houses are selling for in the last 6 months, comparable houses, meaning houses that match the same type of functionality, size, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, for the house that you're analyzing, right? And then you see what they sell for you is averaged out, is weighted out. There's simple tools to do this. Again, if you check those tools out, right? And basically, you use that to determine how much you will offer for a property. Okay? So if you go like that, you reverse engineer like that. So a property, you found out, you did your averages, you did your analysis by 3 different clicks or so. Within 3 clicks is done. The number is spitted out too, right? And then you go back and you say, hey, this property is worth $400,000. The property needs about $60,000 worth of work. The formula we use is called the 70% rule, right? The 70% rule, simply what is 70% of the after repair value, right? The after repair value is $400,000. 70% of that is what? $280,000. The property needs $60,000 worth of work, so we have to adjust $280,000 for $60,000. That's $220,000. That's what we call the maximum allowable offer. We cannot pay more than the maximum allowable offer. That's $220,000 for that property. All right. That's it. If you keep it that simple, there are other nuances. Some people say, what about the closing costs? All of that is already should be a function of the formula I just gave you. But again, dealestimator.com does it automatically, and also EmpireBigData.com, right? Basically, it spit out the number at you. Say, this is my offer. If you do that and you get to, remember, based on the last 6 months, not 6 years worth, what the real estate was worth 6 years ago, because 6 years ago the market could be in a bubble, right? We're talking about 6 months, right? 6 months, depending on how bad the market. If the market is terribly bad, you want to shrink that 6 months into 3 months. Okay, right? Because again, that's the numbers. You look at that, you come up with the ARV, you come up with that formula. When you're done with the project in 6 months' time, after the house has been fixed up properly, right? So obviously, it's also a function of how good your repair estimate is, right? So after it's been done, then you get to flip the house for $400,000, maybe $390, maybe $410, maybe $450, right? But there's no way for you to get it wrong if you buy it right. Okay, if you're buying at a bargain, if you're buying, we can't even call it bargain. The house needs work, and the person doesn't want the house anymore. You also had good negotiation skills, and you found a house that's worth $400,000 for $220. You put in $60,000 for work, your cost is up to $280, and then you sell it for potentially $100,000 profit, right? It's really that simple. Could you buy the house for a lot less than $220? Yes, that happens all the time. Maybe $100, right? It just depends on the situation, right? But the idea is to understand the numbers. There's one other thing that you probably should understand, and is marketing, finding the deals. Like if you do one deal every 10 years, that may not feel profitable, but if you're consistent, every 6 months you have a project going on, then it's absolutely still profitable in 2021 and beyond. Okay, so let's not so again, I think it's an authentic question overall. I do think it's an authentic question, but I think I get some of these questions sometimes it gets tiring, but I don't get tired of creating content, I'll tell you that much.